Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Larissa and I crochet plushies. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back and thank you for being here. This week's video is going to be a crochet tutorial on how to make your own little eggplant. These guys are so super cute. They are the same pattern. One is a lot smaller and one is a lot bigger, which shows you how the thickness of your yarn can affect the same pattern and the size, and it's also technically the same yarn as well. I'm pretty sure they're the same brand, or they're meant to be the same size, but this one came out so much smaller than this one. Either way, I am absolutely obsessed with this pattern at the moment. It's something I came up with a few weeks ago when I was experimenting with crocheting a bunch of fruit and veg. So if you are wanting to make more food and fresh fruits and veg, then this will be the perfect pattern for you. All right, I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer, so let's get straight into the tutorial. The materials you will need are 2 colors of your main size yarn. I use size 6, so purple for the eggplant and green for the leaves and the stem. And then you will also need a size 3 or just a thinner black yarn for the mouth. You can also use embroidery thread. And then you will need scissors, a stitch marker, a pair of 8mm safety eyes, some stuffing, a darning needle, and a 5mm crochet hook is the size that I used. And these are all the stitches that we will be using in this tutorial. So starting off, we will be taking our purple yarn and making the eggplant base. So to do that, we just need to make a magic ring or magic circle and make 8 single crochets into the magic ring. And as usual, when I use plush yarn, I like to tug the yarn a little bit closed after every single crochet, just so it doesn't get caught, which is a tip that I have found really useful. So here I am just making the magic circle and making the 8 single crochets. And now for round 2, we will be making an increase in every stitch all the way around for a total of 16 stitches. And also make sure to add your stitch marker at the beginning of every round from here on. And for round 3, we will be making 1 single crochet and then putting our stitch marker back in, and then an increase in the next stitch and repeating that 8 times over for a total of 24 stitches. For round 4, we will be making 2 single crochets and then an increase and repeating that 8 times all the way around for a total of 32 stitches. round 5, we will be making 3 single crochets and then an increase and repeating that 8 times around for a total of 40 stitches. And for round 6, we will be making 4 single crochets and then an increase and repeating that 8 times all the way around for a total of 48 stitches. We have now maxed out the base, so from rounds 7 to 13, we will just be single crocheting all the way around for a total of 48 stitches, and we just repeat that for a total of 7 rounds. So I will come back to you at the end of round 13. We are now at the end of round 13, so this is what your eggplant should look like so far. And for round 14, we will be making 4 single crochets and then a decrease and repeating that 8 times around for a total of 40 stitches. And now for round 15, we will just be single crocheting all the way around, and we will repeat that from rounds 15 to 18 for a total of 4 rounds. So I will come back to you at the end of round 18. We are now at the end of round 18, and this is what your eggplant should be looking like. And now we will be beginning with round 19, which is 3 single crochets and then a decrease, and repeating that all the way around 8 times for a total of 32 stitches. Once again, from rounds 20 to 22, we will be single crocheting all the way around. So that is a total of 3 rounds, and I will come back to you guys at the end of round 22. So this is what your eggplant should be looking like at the end of round 22, and now it's time to add our 8mm safety eyes between rounds 13 and 14 of the eggplant, about 5 stitches apart. Once the safety eyes have been fastened, it's time to continue with round 23, which is 2 single crochets and a decrease all the way around 8 times for a total of 24 stitches. For round 24, we will be single crocheting all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. Now it is time to stuff the eggplant firmly, making sure it is nice and plump looking. Continuing to round 25, we will be making 1 single crochet and then a decrease 8 times all the way around for a total of 16 stitches. Round 26, which is our last round, is just 8 decreases all the way around for a total of 8 stitches. Now that we have finished the base of the eggplant, make sure that it is fully stuffed to your liking, and then it is time to cut the yarn and fasten off. Make sure you are leaving enough of a tail to sew the top closed. And now it is time to attach the yarn to your darning needle and sew the top closed. I like to do this by sewing through the front loop only of all of the 8 stitches on round 26. And this is the base finished. Now it is time to move on to the leaf portion of the eggplant. So taking your green yarn, we will be making a magic circle with 8 single crochets inside the magic circle. Round 2, we will be making an increase all the way around for a total of 16 stitches. Round 3 will be a single crochet and then an increase 8 times all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. Round 4 is going to be single crocheting all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. Alright, so now we are going to start making the leaves. So you want to continue where you left off for round 5 and make 6 single crochets, and make sure to place your stitch marker into the first stitch so that you can keep track of the stitches. So once you have made 6 single crochets, you want to make 1 chain and then turn your work around and make 6 single crochets all the way back to the stitch marker, and then you can remove your stitch marker because at the end of every round we will be making 1 chain and turning the work around. Now we are on to round 7, which is where we will be slimming the leaves off. So starting off with a decrease and then 2 single crochets and then another decrease to get that leaf tapering in. And then of course a chain 1 and turn at the end. For round 8, we will be making 2 decreases and then chain and turn. For round 9, which is the last round, we will just be making 1 decrease and then you can fasten off and cut the yarn. You can choose to weave in your ends now or you can weave them in at the end, which is what I prefer to do. Now we need to make 3 more leaves for a total of 4 leaves, and I will show you guys how I attach my yarn to make the next leaf. I like to continue in the same direction I started my first leaf in, just into the next stitch, and then pulling the yarn through like so and making a chain, and then single crocheting into the same stitch I just made my chain in to start off round 5 again with the 6 single crochets. So I will come back to you guys at the end of when I have made all 4 of my leaves. This is what your leaves should look like once you have made all 4 of them. It should have used up all of the stitches from round 4. And now we will continue by making the stem of the eggplant. Taking the same green yarn, we want to make a slip knot and then make 5 chains. And then starting in the second chain from your hook, you want to make 4 single crochets all the way down the stem. Now you want to fasten off and cut the yarn. Make sure you're leaving a long tail because this is what you will use to sew everything together. Now that we have crocheted all 3 pieces, it is time to put the leaves on top of the eggplant body just so that you can figure out where you want it to be placed before securing it down. And now it is time to thread the darning needle through the tail of the stem, and we will start by sewing the stem to the leaves. We will not be sewing it through the eggplant just yet. So now it is time to sew the leaves to the eggplant. I just like to take some extra darning needles and poke them through to make sure that everything is nice and secured so it won't move around when I'm sewing. Now taking the darning needle with the yarn attached, I am sewing the leaves down, making sure to get through the eggplant as well to make sure that it is all secure. And I am just sewing each leaf down once just because I don't need it to be super secure. If you want them to lay completely flat, then you may want to sew more times on each leaf. But for me, doing this 1 stitch through each leaf is good enough, and it will make sure that nothing moves out of place. Now that everything is sewn on, I like to just weave in the ends of the leaves from earlier into the body of the eggplant. I find that this works well for me. It is not super secure, but since I'm not selling these, I'm just keeping them for myself. I'm happy with just weaving them straight in. They don't tend to pop out that much. And last but not least, it is now time to sew the mouth using size 3 chenille yarn. This is DMC Happy Chenille. I am threading it through the darning needle, and you want to sew the mouth in the middle stitch between the 2 eyes, directly in the middle between rounds 13 and 14. And you want to just make 1 pass over the 1 stitch to make the mouth, and then weave in the ends. And we have now completed the eggplant. And that is all for this week's tutorial. I absolutely love how this guy came out, and I love that I have both the light and the dark version as well. They're so cute. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you have any questions or concerns, leave a comment down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. It would really help out my channel. And if you want to see more crochet related content, you can subscribe and join my little family. Love you guys. Bye.